One of my questions I get quite a bit is when I'm buying used equipment, am I ever scared of anything? There's one thing that I'm always scared of when you buy used equipment, and that is getting it repoed. Now I know what you're saying. You're like, I bought used equipment, I paid for it in cash. How can it get repoed? Simple. Whoever you're buying it from bought equipment that wasn't paid off and never got repossessed. Now I know what you're thinking. You're like, how does that happen? Well, it happens all the time. You get laundromats, zombie laundromats, they go out of business, or they start to go out of business, and before they lose it all, these people find people like you and me that are looking for equipment, looking for a deal, and they go, hey, for basically half the price or a third of the price or a 16th of the price, I'm going to sell this guy this equipment. I'm going to get it out of my hair. You come and pick it up, get it out of here, and then it's your problem. And you paid this person for it. Well, one day, what happens is, here comes your dealer. Hey, by the way, that equipment ain't paid for. Our dealers, our company, our corporate office told us to repo it from you. And they will. They'll walk right in and take it out like it's nothing. Now, a lot of times people ask me, they go, well, how do they know how to repo it? Well, here's how it goes down. You buy the equipment from so-and-so. You paid next to nothing for it. Great for you, sort of. Now, all of a sudden, you've installed it, or you call a dealer to install it, or after you get it installed, it breaks, and guess what? You're busy, so you're going to call the dealer, which is a great dealer to you, whether it's Speed Queen or Dexter or Maytag or Waskamat, Electrolux, you know, bugs flying around, sorry. It doesn't matter what dealer it is. They come in and they repair it for you. Well, while they're repairing it, they run that VIN because they need parts. And they run that VIN and they go, oop, flags up on their computer that it's not paid for, that it's repoed. And so then they get to come along and give you the bad news. The other way it happens is if you decide to repair your equipment. Okay, so you go to repair your own equipment, and the vendor, the dealer that you have, vendor, dealer, parts guy is going to ask you for the model number and serial number. And that's why they ask you that. They're always on the lookout for that equipment. And it's basically a corporate thing. When I buy parts in New York, or I buy parts from people in Kansas, or I buy parts from my local dealer here in the Midwest, they all ask me those two questions. Model number and serial number. So you might be asking, well, how do I stop this from happening to me? How do I avoid this? Well, there's basically three ways to avoid this. And the one is get all the serial numbers, call your dealer that you use and say, hey, look, I'm looking at some equipment, and talk to the parts guy. Can you tell me if these serial numbers are any good, if these machines aren't repoed? My dealer, I buy so much stuff from them, parts and that, they don't mind running it for me. But some might, okay? So say your dealer won't run the numbers for you. Say you will fall in that category. That's not good because you're trying to build a relationship, okay? So you can call straight to the manufacturer and have them run the numbers. Now, if this doesn't work, then your third option is you really have to do your due diligence. What you got to do is you got to really look at it from this standpoint. Is this too good a deal to be true? If this equipment is only, I'd say 6 years old, 7 years old, or 8 years old, and it's perfect condition, laundromat's hardly been used, the guy's trying just to get out from under it, that's usually a red flag. If you're a year old, 3 years old, and the guy's already selling it, that's a big red flag, especially if it's a really reduced rate. Now, let's say you go down this path, and I'm not condoning this. Let's say you go down this path and you're going to buy this equipment. You better never give those serial numbers. If you suspect that it's repoed equipment, you better never give those serial numbers to your dealer, because at some point it'll get repoed from you because you basically bought something that wasn't paid for. The same as if someone sold you a car. See, cars we can't do it because we got titles, right? But if you sold someone a car and you didn't pay for it, it'd get repoed. But that's why we have titles. Now on equipment, we don't have titles. Now I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, Keenan, this doesn't ever happen. Well, my dealer, when I first got in business, he warned me about it. He said, I want you to understand something. I know you're going to buy used equipment at some point in your career. Just be very careful. And if you think it's too good a deal to be true, call us with the numbers and the serial numbers, and we will run them, because I don't want to repo laundromat equipment from you. And he told me point blank that he had done it to another laundromat not that far off when I was buying my first set of laundromat equipment. About the same time, he was doing it to another guy, and he liked the customer. He said, it's nothing against you. It's Speed Queen now knows it's sitting here. They're coming one way or the other. Whether we repo it or another company comes in and repos it, it's getting repoed. You don't own it. It happens a lot, and you just don't see it. Another story of it happening, I'll use a farming reference. the farm ground I just bought, I bought from a guy that basically was fraudulent, and he was losing the farm to the bank. He had a big judgment. He owed a lot of money. Well, him and his partner had combines, quite a few of them, and they were actually didn't have them paid off, and they sold them to a farmer south of here, south of where I live, probably about 6 hours away. This farmer wrote him gave him a cashier's check and everything, paid for it lock, stock, and barrel. This farmer's thinking that his combine's paid off, right? All of a sudden, our local dealer here, our John Deere dealer, got wind that these idiots had sold these combines. So they went looking, and they found him because the guy bought parts. And when they asked him the same question, model and serial number. Now, some equipment has serial number breaks where they go along and all of a sudden, bang, well, we got to improve this item, so this model, this serial number range will have a new part. True, but it's also a way to keep track of your equipment and know where it is in the country and where it's moving around. So anyway, John Deere finally got wind of this. They went into that guy, that farmer, and they said, hey, look, we're taking that combine. And he goes, I paid for it. You know, you bought it from somebody that didn't own it. This happens. It happens a lot, and I don't want you to get stuck on this end of the deal. That's why when there's deals that are too good to be true, you got to be careful. Third story of this happening, my dealer. I was building my laundromat in 2016. I was building that laundromat you see, my number 3, my really fancy looking one. My dealer is scrambling to find equipment because he knows I'm not going to pay a whole lot for equipment, okay? He had gave me an estimate at that time to put 24 washers and 30 pocket dryers, or 30 pockets in. There were stacks, okay? And at that time, the price was $170,000 off the semi. There's 15 and 30, so it's 45 machines. Anyway, he's looking around for used stuff, and he finds something. He found it in this big town, a big population, millions of people. And he went to go look at it, and it was nice stuff, 4 years old, okay? 4 years, real cheap. He goes, Keenan, I got a hell of a deal. Well, then when he got back, he called me, and he said, I knew it was too good to be true. He called Speed Queen, obviously, because he's a dealer, found out that that guy still owed money on all that equipment, had never made a payment. Because at that time, Speed Queen had like a 2-year no payments, and then guys were getting behind it because then at year 2, they couldn't afford the payments, and it just got out of hand, and they were over-financing these customers. So that was how my dealer almost got taken, just because he was in a hurry. So you don't want to be that person that gets stuck. You got to be very vigilant. Like I said, your dealers should be able to run these numbers for you. They should be able to tell you whether it's clean or not. Don't trust the person selling it to you, because they could be a trunk slammer. They could be just a regular Joe that owns a laundromat, a person that owns a laundromat. They may not be the most honest person. You know, a trunk slammer is just equipment jockeys. Like if I had a bunch of machines I took out of a laundromat, another laundromat, I just sell them all over the country. I don't care. You know, once they're out of my hair, I made money. I don't care. You know, that's what a trunk slammer is. That's somebody that doesn't service your equipment, doesn't sell you parts, you never see again. So that's why it's important to have a very good dealer in the brand that you're going to go with, because they can really be instrumental. They can be really instrumental in helping you succeed in this. And that's what you need. If you have a brand that you like and the dealership around you sucks and you can't get another dealership to service you out of territory, well, you need to find a different dealer, because the dealer is paramount to you being successful. You want dealers that have been in business a long time. You want dealers that know what they're doing. Go around to other laundromats in your area. See what equipment they're buying and why. You know, most people, if you're not in their area, they will tell you, okay? So hopefully this was helpful. That's what I always worry about, is getting equipment that's been repoed and then having it taken after I've already paid for it and worked on it or whatever. So you got to be real careful.